world, but doesn't forget to throw in a sexy Martian girl. So kiss your sweet sanity goodbye, because General Tim Burton's Mars Attacks is now on the big screen. And this is how he did it. The Sci-Fi Channel presents Plan of Attack, the making of Mars Attacks.
To achieve victory on the big screen, a filmmaker must have a plan. And at the heart of every great plan is one spectacular idea. Plan of attack, step number 1, identify your idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Martian ambassador is going to say a few words. Come on down, Mr. Ambassador.
That's a Martian?
They blew up Congress!
Mars Attacks is a sci-fi spoof top-lined by some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Among 20 well-known stars, Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Martin Short, and Rod Steiger are just some of the headliners.
What's this?
Oh, that's your executive order authorizing full use of our nuclear deterrent, sir.
Are you out of your mind? I'm not going to start a war.
We have to strike now, sir! Annihilate! Kill! Kill! Kill!
Shut up!
Commanding the troop of players is director Tim Burton.
Action!
Burton has already come out a winner on films like Batman, Beetlejuice, and Edward Scissorhands. The 30-something director got the brainstorm for this film after stumbling across a trading card series from the 60s called Mars Attacks. The 55-card set was released in 1962 by the Topps Chewing Gum Company. The eye-popping cards portrayed an all-out invasion from Mars. Len Brown, now Topps creative director, remembers showing an old EC comic book to his boss, Woody Gelman.
Right on the cover of the comic book was a flying saucer landing out in the wilderness, and two young kids were hiding behind a rock watching these, what looked like Martians, getting off the flying saucer. And I remember saying to Woody, wouldn't this look good as a card series if we did a whole series about a space invasion? And bingo, I mean, he saw that right away as a possibility.
This is a human female, obviously, that the Martians have mutated. They've made her the woman that she is today.
That's a great cover.
While Topps loved the series, many parents and teachers were offended by the graphic nature of the cards. Cold War paranoia was running high about all things alien, and the invaders were from the Red Planet. Topps lasted through 6 months of controversy, then pulled the Mars Attacks cards from stores to silence public outcry.
It just strikes a nerve. The imageries are so striking, and Woody and I worked on every picture and try to make every photo, every drawing look like a little miniature poster and tell a story by itself. And I think we succeeded. The one that always jumps out is the one called Destroying a Dog. And it's a little kid crying, shrieking as a Martian is, you know, blasting a dog to smithereens. And I understand in the movie there's a scene where a dog gets it. So I think Tim reacted favorably to that particular card also.
I just like the way that the cards, the lurid quality of them, and also the kind of naive quality in those original cards. Nowadays, it's like it's hard to believe that could ever happen. You know, with those cards, there's a lot more worse things floating around now than Mars Attacks cards. You know.
Burton and screenwriter Jonathan Gems shuffled through the deck of original Mars Attacks cards for inspiration to write the movie.
Well, just, you know, through the cart, 52 pickup. No, just throw them down. And, you know, I had kind of favorite cards. I like the images, so we just tried to work them into some degree.
Now, a set of the original 1962 trading cards is worth $2,000 today. A new series of trading cards, based on the Mars Attacks movie, is being released. This will guarantee that the aliens from Mars Attacks will continue their invasion of Earth for some time to come.
Next on the making of Mars Attacks, Tim Burton assembles a Hollywood dream team for his sci-fi spoof.
To plan of attack, the general must choose men and women who can lead, who are known and respected. Step number 2, recruit killer talent.
What we're going for, Michael, is we're going to keep you tight full frame as much as we can the full way. After this, we're gonna end, the cart's gonna end there. You jump here, we're gonna tilt up, you come into about, you know, half figure here. That'll blow behind you.
Tim Burton has never had trouble recruiting top-ranked talent for his projects. Once the casting call went out on Mars Attacks, Hollywood's most outrageously inventive director saw the big names start lining up. Nearly 20 famous faces make up the film's ensemble cast.
Well, I was just very lucky to have this cast, you know, there's great people that, you know, act into imaginary characters to be added later, you know. It was like such a great cast, you know, so Academy Award winners, this and that, you know, all running and screaming, you know. It was just sort of surreal and fun to be around.
What, in your view, Donald Kessler, Chairman, are some of the things that the Martians can teach us, Professor?
She's flirting with him.
Pierce Brosnan, who's frequently the leading man, happily shares the spotlight with other top actors in Mars Attacks.
My first day's work was in the Oval Office. First day, it was a 6-page scene. There was Jack, the man, as the president. There was Glenn Close, the first lady, Natalie Portman, young, beautiful Natalie Portman, Mr. Rod Steiger, Paul Winfield, Martin Short, and yours truly. It was amazing. I mean, I was just gobstruck.
Think of the things that we could do. Think how strong we would be. Earth and Mars together.
Nicholson and Burton's first film together was the original Batman movie. Tim sent Jack a script for Mars Attacks in the hopes of collaborating once again.
I was in the airport and I was running onto a plane and I asked him, so Jack, you know, which part would you do a part? He goes, well, I'll do them all.
Ultimately, Nicholson settled for 2 roles: sleazy Vegas developer Art Land and the President of the United States. Glenn Close plays the arrogant First Lady.
It was wonderful working with Nicholson because I'd never worked with him before. He was incredibly generous and wonderful on the set, and every time he arrived, they would sing they would play "Hail to the Chief" on the sound machine. He enjoyed it every single time he heard it, you know.
Close learned that Burton and Nicholson share a mutual respect for one another.
One day on the set, Nicholson was you know, we were waiting for a shot, and he said, you know, I've always wished that Tim Burton would be for me the way Scorsese has been for De Niro.
Burton is not only an individualistic filmmaker, but a unique individual as well.
You know, kind of like the energy, and I don't know, it's that weird, you know, insane thing that...
Martin Short does a mean Tim Burton impersonation, but he and the rest of the cast have high praise for the director.
Ultimately, on the set, he is enormously focused. He's very, very funny and very loose and into laughing and doing jokes and having fun.
Tim called, said, hey, look, to do the Rude Gambler, I said, absolutely. You know, you want me to be the checkout, the supermarket. You know, I would go wherever I really like the guy a lot. I think I really respect his work. I would, you know, I want to be part of everything that he does, period.
I think it's the fact that he doesn't take it so seriously, but on the other hand, he has there seems to be great reverence for cinema.
What do you think, Taffy? Why don't you just leave the Roosevelt room the way the Roosevelts wanted it?
15-year-old actress Natalie Portman, who plays the president's jaded daughter, has a unique view of the director's abilities.
He's got a great mind, and he's maintained that level of imagination that kids have, you know. He's been able to become an adult without losing that creativity, and it's just amazing. He's got this, like, great mind.
Tim Burton is happy his actors seem to have had as much fun making Mars Attacks as he did.
I think with some actors, that's why they get into it to begin with, you know, to kind of explore that fun side of it. You know, there's the side of exploring the depths of emotion and all of that, and then there's the other side of it, which is just, why, you know, the thrill of kind of creating something out of nothing.
I'm not going to have that thing in my house.
Tim Burton joins the digital revolution, bringing a new breed of mean green Martians to the sci-fi scene. Next.
The idea is great. The leaders are set. Now how to create the enemy. What's an invasion film without an enemy? Step number 3, mobilize your special forces. Special effects forces, that is.
This exclusive clip, released to the Sci-Fi Channel, portrays the Martian ambassador's arrival on Earth.
Gee whiz.
Tim Burton is a fan of old sci-fi films, and at first he hoped to create all his aliens with stop-motion animation. But facing time and budget constraints, Burton's producer convinced him computer animation was the way to go. This shaved an incredible $30 million off the film's budget, and it also allowed him to film in an anamorphic format, which better highlights large-scale action.
Martians.
We had the opportunity to shoot in a wider, in the scope format, which if we'd done stop motion would have been harder to do. And so we accomplished a lot more in a shorter period of time with this technique. It's really down to the animators and how good they are, and I was lucky to work with good ones.
The digital effects experts at Industrial Light and Magic began digitizing Martians 1 year prior to the film's release. 60 animators, technical directors, and match movers created hundreds of shots. Then they had to realistically integrate the 5-foot aliens with the live-action elements around them.
Taking something from nothing and making it three-dimensional is pretty amazing, and I was fascinated by it, and there was a lot of detail in it that was beautiful.
You think you can do anything you want? Well, you can't. You see, because we are human beings, and we have the
United States Army that'll fight you to the last man and will never surrender.
Burton wanted his aliens to resemble bad, hyperactive teens, but his starting point for the quirky, eccentric characters was his favorite old Martian movies.
When I look at the characters, to me it's like what I would call a classic Man from Mars. I don't know, it just seems like that's when you think of, Invasion of the Saucermen or the Metaluna Mute, you think of like the big-brained characters or the little guy, you push them all together and it kind of creates this.
No weapon, no clown outfit, it's me, Fire and Wind, heavyweight champion of the world.
Creating the physical aspects of the Martians was a high-tech affair. But when it came to the Martian language, a simple recording provided the solution.
With the voice, we tried a bunch of different things, more complicated, but we ended up recording on a cheap recorder for the storyboards, and it ended up kind of sticking, and it just seemed like their voice, and we modified it a little bit, but it's pretty much, it's pretty much was a mistake.
The computer-generated Martians are an awesome display of state-of-the-art technology, but Burton intentionally made their movements similar to the animation perfected by early effects masters like Willis O'Brien and Ray Harryhausen.
I love stop motion, and I always have and always will, and I think each medium has its own energy. With this group of animators, it was really great, try to achieve that kind of feeling of stop motion, which is its roots and inspiration.
A separate effects team at Warner Digital Studios handled the saucer animation on Mars Attacks. The main titles alone required 2.5 minutes of animation. Burton provided sketches that clearly showed his desire for spaceships that harked back to the sci-fi movies he loved as a kid.
I tried to go for just classic, simple, taking everything that had been done and just try to hone it down to its simplest form. I like silver flying saucers.
Step number 4 in the Mars Attacks plan of attack. Enlist production wizards. It's time for makeup, location, sets, and Tom Jones.
Why can't this crazy love be mine?
Tim Burton came to see me in Vegas doing a show with the MGM and said that he had this idea for this movie and he would like me to be in it because of the one section where these Martians come into Vegas. So I was very excited about it because, you know, I love the work that Tim Burton has done.
Of course, only Tom Jones could play Tom Jones. But what if you wanted to cast a human in the role of a seductive Martian? For the memorable character Martian Girl, Tim Burton decided to cast his real-life girlfriend, Lisa Marie, the actress who played Vampira in Burton's last film, Ed Wood.
She's got that quality which I used to like in those old like The Queen of Blood or The Astounding She-Monster. You know, it's just kind of a sci-fi girl, which she had that quality of, and that's why I thought she'd be great for it.
Hey, Midge, it's me. Can you let me in?
Oh, hello, Mr. Ross. Sure. We're just a little nervous around here after what happened to Congress.
Exactly. Lisa Marie, who was really quite astounding in the scene, had this strange demeanor as she would move, but then she'd have bursts of energy, and then she'd stop. You're very graceful.
The Martian Girl character first appeared in 1994, when the Topps Company made her a comic book cover girl. When the company reissued the Mars Attack series that same year with several new images, Martian Girl also turned up as a trading card. Now, the illustration fascinated Tim Burton, who began to sketch drawings and develop the character for his movie. Then, actress Lisa Marie had to develop her Martian motivation.
We talked about the movement and the way that he wanted me to, you know, my body language and my eye movement, and he was very specific about me not blinking and, you know, chewing the gum and kind of being very spaced out, like being on drugs, kind of in another world type of feeling.
Transforming Lisa Marie into Martian Girl required 7 hours of makeup. But human co-stars like Annette Bening as hippy-dippy Barbara Land were given makeovers as well.
People say they're ugly, but I think they've come to show us the way. I think they've come to save us.
I had wonderful help from the people who did my makeup and my hair, and we all kind of worked together and came up with a look that was very different. To get to look different and put on a wig and put on makeup and wear nails and all that, I love that. It was really fun.
And turning Glenn Close into the First Lady required careful planning to achieve that just right stately appearance.
I thought perhaps the watered silk, and this week it's on sale.
I hardly think I need worry about that. My husband is the leader of the free world.
And I got great hints and direction from Tim. I mean, he had the look, wonderful costumes, and a great wig. Actually, it was my own wig. It happened so fast. I got cast in it so fast, so I'm actually wearing one of my own wigs that was restyled, kind of a la Pat Nixon.
While most of Glenn Close's scenes were shot on sound stages in Los Angeles, Tim Burton and his crew scoured the country for the perfect alien invasion settings. The Mars Attacks production team shot one of the most elaborate scenes outside of Kingman, Arizona. There were hundreds of extras, Army tanks and helicopters that were brought in to stage the spaceship's initial landing in the desert. Michael J. Fox found himself at the location playing a hotshot reporter looking for a Martian news scoop.
The teeming masses have gathered from who knows how many states, watching and waiting.
It's kind of fun to play a character that's supposed to report on what's happening and really is much more concerned with himself and his hair. And his hair, by the way, is perfect. I mean, wind's blowing, I got, you know, my clothes are flying off, Martians are landing, explosions are happening, and the hair is perfect.
There's a Martian right behind me.
Hey, you're Tom Jones, right?
Some members of the cast, like Danny DeVito, who plays a rude Las Vegas gambler, relished the idea of facing off with hostile aliens in the heart of Sin City.
I can help you. I'm a lawyer. You want to conquer the world? You're going to need lawyers, right?
We're being chased by the Martians, and we're running across, and there's explosions and trees blowing up, and, you know, the sky's lit up, and there's spaceships flying all around us. I mean, when do you get a chance to do stuff like that?
Hey!
Just because you're dressed like King Tut, that doesn't mean you're our leader.
Everybody might get something different from it, and I think that's good in movies, you know. I think that's makes it an individual experience, as opposed to being told exactly what to think all the time, which is nice sometimes too. But these characters are sort of unknown; they're not predictable, and I think that that's what's good, about it in the movie.
Even though it is a sci-fi spoof, Mars Attacks is destined to join the ranks of classic alien invasion movies. That's because, in his unique comic way, Tim Burton has created a takeoff on 50 sci-fi films, along with a parody of the good old USA.
Little people. Why can't we all just get along?
If there's anyone who can make you scream, it's horror meister Wes Craven. Join him as he hosts 2 classic thrillers, guaranteed to have you howling in horror. Plus, see exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of his new film, Scream, on Wes Craven's Screaming Double Feature, beginning tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Sci-Fi Saturday. Now, to find out what's new in the world of science fiction entertainment, strap yourself in and prepare to enter the SF Vortex. Next.